We would like to acknowledge the traditional custodians of the lands on which we meet to share these conversations on the Vegan Compass podcast.
We extend our respect to elders past, present and emerging, as well as any of our listeners and guests. Hello and welcome to the Vegan Compass podcast, unveiling truths, inspiring change.
We're your hosts, Rick Allport and Mackenzie Cross.
In each episode, we bring you meaningful conversations with vegan changemakers that remind us progress is possible, even in a world full of bad news.
Hello everyone, welcome back to another episode of the Vegan Compass podcast. As always, we're so excited to have you with us, and today we have a special in-person conversation with Krzysztof and Brett from Faux Sho.
Hi.
And I've got to say, this is our first time that we're actually doing it with two people, so this is really cool, so thank you for doing that. But my first question, as always, who are you and what do you do?
I'm Brett and this is Krzysztof. And we are Faux Sho.
And with Faux Sho, we'll get into that a little bit more a bit later, but Faux Sho is basically cheese?
Yeah, so we're a vegan pantry or food producer, and we specialise in handmade vegan cheeses. Also, what else? Condiments and deli items.
Nice.
So... pizza as well. Sorry, I forgot.
So it's a bit of an umbrella statement.
Yep.
So we can, it was for two reasons. So we could do multiple things and also test what worked and what didn't work.
Yeah. Nice. Okay, that sounds good.
And how long have you both been vegan?
About 10 years, and we've been veggie nearly all our adult life. 1998 for myself. So I was 10 then. No,
wow.
I wasn't really. I was 22 then. So
yeah, I was vegetarian in high school, and when I met Brett, he was vegetarian, and I just went vegetarian overnight because I had already been vegetarian, so just fell back into it. But I think vegan about
social media was the push to get us to go vegan once we learned about the dairy industry.
Yeah.
That's what it was for me too.
I didn't quite realise.
Yeah, well, I thought I was really good, being a veggie, and that's really cool. And then somebody said, have you seen the dairy industry? And I just went, oh, geez, okay. And I would have like that much milk in coffee and cheese when I'd go to friends' places, and it's like, I can get rid of that.
I feel they trick us a little more, the dairy industry. At least with meat, you know what you're getting.
Yeah.
True.
Dairy, it's a bit, they try to pretend it's kind of something it's not generally. So.
Yeah, and of course there's, as a lot of the scientists have said, casein is an addictive substance, and it's more addictive than things like heroin.
Yeah.
And that's why people can't give up the cheese.
Well, I used to be a cheese freak.
Right.
I've got a Polish background. We grew up on lots of... grandma would always have cheese of some form as the vegetarian option. So I used to base a lot of my meals around cheese. And going vegan was very difficult for me at that time because I realised, I eat a lot. Which then kind of led me into making my own substitutes. So I think that was birthed a long time before we even started doing the food business, because, cheese was such a big part of my diet that I needed to replace or find alternatives for. So,
and it's a kind of once you know you can't unknow.
Yeah, exactly. So you've been together for 21 years.
Correct.
And you met here in Sydney.
Mm-hmm.
Correct.
Did you both have a hospitality background, or how did you sort of start working together and get into this scene?
I've done a bit of everything, but mainly hospitality. I've worked at an establishment, restaurant, when it was Restaurant of the Year, Long Grain, all non-vegan places. Would have been the dream to work in a vegan place, but those options weren't readily available, I guess. Then I worked in nightclubs in London. I'm a musician also. And then I finished up working for Jamie Oliver, and I remember the last time I served meat and I couldn't do it anymore. So I got to that point and started my own business. Haven't made as much money as I have previously, but I think my ethics have made me sleep a lot better at night, and
Yeah.
I believe that. I got to a saturation point and I just couldn't do it anymore.
No, that's so understandable.
Yeah.
So, Krzysztof, how did you get into this?
Well, I actually worked for a bank, and when I met Brett, he was working in hospitality. We decided to move to London for 1 year to try it out because Brett had already been living there. And I just didn't want to move to another country and him work nights, because he said, I have to work hospitality, I have to do nights. And I didn't want to be working days and be in a new city. So I started doing some odd hospitality jobs here and there, got a bit of experience, then moved into restaurants when I went to London. So we were both working similar hours, and then worked through nightclubs, restaurants, and then, that all kind of led to us birthing the food business.
So tell us more about your first business. It was selling fried pizzas in East London. Is that right?
It actually sounds super delicious.
Okay, so I thought I created this dish. They're called panzerotta in Italy, which have been around for centuries. But I was just experimenting at home, flipped a pizza, stuck it in the deep fryer, and it came out like a donut pizza.
Wow.
And lucky I didn't boast about it online that I've created this whole thing, because it's been around for 2 centuries. But
Yes.
it was more about finding it was an accidental finding of the product, but it was about fitting into markets, because vegan pizza was well and truly covered in the UK. So in order to do a market, you don't want 3 people selling the same product. So we fit in perfectly. We were able to trade next to businesses that we thought would be our competition that ended up becoming our good friends. And that's what I loved about the whole market scene, is everyone wanted each other to do well. And I wasn't used to that in the workplace that I'd come from. And so that was kind of the carryover beauty of the business we've been in, that you made friends, and everyone, if someone had a bad day, it was kind of, and we'd look after each other, which...
That community feels so nice.
Yeah, and I find vegans love talking about food and why they're vegan, and doing markets, you get to meet people face to face, and meeting your customers, we've kind of liked that side of it. We've all worked together nearly all our time together.
That's true, yes.
And I think the markets are the best part. You get to see your customers and meet like-minded people, I guess, is what I'm getting at.
We used to have a really great market here in Sydney, like the Sydney Vegan Markets.
Yep.
They were fantastic. When I lived up on the Gold Coast, there were the Queensland markets they would have up there.
They still have the Queensland markets.
They're still going
Is Sydney
strong.
Vegan Market no more?
No.
Oh, that's a shame.
They...
Not regularly.
Yeah.
Okay.
It would come back every so often, but it used to be regular here. But in Queensland, you'd have the regular Gold Coast one, the regular Brisbane one on the Sunshine Coast, and
They're just a great vibe.
Yeah, you're just meeting up with all your friends and people you haven't seen in ages. So it's always good. The market
And just
scene.
seeing people enjoy vegan food en masse is so pleasurable.
Yeah.
Well, that was the idea to get into it, is to change one or two, debunk the whole vegan food is boring myth.
Yeah.
That was our mission.
It reminds me of, I was in Melbourne, funnily enough, for an animal rights forum, and they had Lord of the Fries there across the road from Melbourne Town Hall.
Yeah.
So we'd finished that for the night, and I went, I'm starving. I'm just going to run into Lord of the Fries. So I've gone in and I've ordered my burger, I've ordered my chips, and I've gone and sat down, and this real Aussie family came in, and they're all looking at the menu, and the guy's going, I'm going to have this one. That looks really good. And they came down and sat down waiting for their order. And then the lady sort of came over and just very quietly said, are these all vegan? And I went,
Was that before or after they ate them?
They'd already ordered them.
Okay.
So they didn't know.
Okay.
She said, are all these vegan? I went, yeah. And she said, please don't tell my husband. And I went, okay. Anyway, so they got him, and he's eating it, and he's enjoying. He's going, this is really great. And I said, so you're really enjoying the burger? He goes, yeah, it's fantastic. I said, it's vegan. And she's just glared at me.
Maybe I'm biased, but don't think I could tell they're vegan. They're pretty convincing that they're-
He just looked at me first in shock, and he went,
Tastes like a Big Mac.
tastes so good.
Yeah,
So
good.
it-
Exactly.
he kind of got the joke. So
I think the good thing about the markets or vegan restaurants is it's just a good entry point for people who are a little bit suspicious or haven't tried vegan food before.
Yeah.
Okay.
So where does vegan cheese making fit into all of this? So you've branched out into vegan cheese making
so
soon
when
after?
we started doing the deep fried pizzas, there wasn't really much on the market commercially available, especially for food service or in the quantities that we needed. The supermarkets were stocking basically congealed coconut fat, So I started experimenting with fermenting cashews and, looking online for certain recipes for mozzarelas and, testing this, that, the other. And came up with our first product, which was a vegan mozzarella, which we called the non-zarella. We couldn't use that name over here because I think there's another brand that's got a different letter already trademarked. So
we do own the trademark in the UK for it, though.
So we couldn't do that. But that product was kind of really well received when we started using it, because I don't think anybody at that stage was actually fermenting the cashews before turning them into a mozzarella.
He loves this science and the fermentation process.
So the taste was different. It was kind of more... It was
more
better.
like
it was
cheese.
just better. More like cheese. Yeah, absolutely.
I like to say it's got a bit of a piquant kind of taste.
Yeah, so we started doing that, and that was the first product that we did. And then I used to do a soft cheese to dip, because we found with the deep fried pizzas, some people would, I guess they look like a Cornish pasty. So sometimes they would leave the crust, and I was like, I don't want them to eat the crust because that's the best bit. It's like a crunchy donut, donutty pastry. So I'd created a soft cheese to go on the side so they could dip it in and not waste anything.
Oh, how cool.
And so that was the birth of our soft cheese. And again, fermented cashews, experimenting with different herbs, spices, whatnot. And then we kind of noticed that actually people are really receiving the cheeses so well. And we could see other vegan cheesemakers in London setting up markets, selling out in 2 hours and then going home. And meanwhile, we're slaving away there, making pizzas. And we're like, hang on, they're onto something,
It's a supply and demand.
Absolutely.
And they were doing good quality products.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, it depends. Everybody's got different needs, tastes, whatever. But a lot of them were all heavily coconut oil based.
Yeah.
I can't do a lot of coconut oil, and I started creating recipes without. The only product that we make with coconut oil is our mozzarella, because you need a little bit for it to melt, but no other product does. And that was kind of our lead into creating a different cheese brand, because everyone else was using coconut oil. So
it's amazing. You've learned how to do all of this yourself.
I do watch cheese shows in my spare time. They're quite boring, but we use dairy cheese techniques just with cashew milk. So with that aged cheese, we flip them every day or every second day for 3 months, and that's what firms them up.
Wow.
Whereas coconut oil, we generally do that job in a week, but the calorie intake is huge, and I don't think there's coconut oil in many dairy cheeses.
Well, I remember
it's a corner cutting.
I remember the first vegan cheese I had was a soy cheese.
I know the exact one.
I know pretty much hit the bin after the first bite. It was
that
horrid.
was when I first went vegan. I was 15 and it was disgusting.
I used to say that Violife is the brand in the UK. It looks like cheese, but that's kind of where it ends.
Yeah.
In fact, when they'd offer me cheese on a vegan burger, I'd say no.
Yeah, we got to the point where we're like, if it's...
I prefer to just not have it.
Yeah. I don't want to sound snobby, but when you make your own cheeses and then you buy certain... Well, just, I guess any commercially made food is commercially made for a reason, to be made quickly and cheaply. So
the first batch we made, we sampled at a non-vegan market, South Bank Centre, where the London Eye is, and we were the only vegan store there, and we let non-vegans try it. And that for me is the bar you've got to impress. So us vegans, like you said, we'll eat sometimes whatever's on the menu that we can eat. But you've got to break out outside of the vegan market to survive as a business. You can't just rely on your vegan community. So that was the bar. We wanted to feed non-vegans and then not bag out the vegan food, which is
what was the
historically
response
happened.
at that first market?
Well, that's when we knew we were onto it.
Yeah.
Well,
And that was the aging process.
Everything sold, and we were like, "Hang on, that took us like 2 months to make. We got to go home and make more."
So
You
we
know,
couldn't
like,
make
we
enough
didn't-
aged cheeses there because
Yeah.
they took 3 months to make, and they were our best sellers. Whereas when we came to Australia, we focused on the jarred products first, which take about a week to make because we can churn them out quicker. So we swapped the model around a little bit because waiting 3 months for the next batch of cheese was too arduous. So,
Yeah.
but it was a
But it
good
was
problem to have.
It was a good response, and we were like, okay, well, we need to focus on this.
And that's when we knew we were doing it.
And that's
right,
kind of
so-
when Faux Sho was really born, because before then we were Bar de Barchi, which is loosely translated as Bar of Kisses, and that was the, kind of deep fried pizza stall using our cheese. But then we were like, okay, we need to work on cheeses, and Faux Sho just happened to... coming up with a name and finding something that's not being trademarked that's good, it was hard. So when I came up with Faux Sho, I was like, it's not taken. Oh my god, we can get the .com, we can get the .co.uk. Quick, let's jump on it.
It's definitely such a creative name. I love it.
Thank
Well,
you.
the name man.
Yeah, as you said, like you've got on your T-shirt, is it vegan?
Faux Show.
Well, we
It
sold
is.
a few of those t-shirts. We did make a few of those up as like products, and they
Yeah.
were quite popular.
Yeah, people were like, we need that T-shirt. I'm like, oh, I just did them for staff, Like,
But it's a great T-shirt and it's a great story about
Thank
how
you.
it runs into your name.
Yeah.
So it's really cool. But unfortunately, of course, we did hit COVID, and it was a real tough time for businesses. How did you guys manage to work your way through that whole COVID period?
Well, we were closed for 9 months of the year. In 2020, I think it was. Was that the first year? It's all
Yeah.
2020.
such a blur now.
Yeah.
9 months of the year. And we have the two businesses there. We were just birthing Faux Sho, and we had Bar de Barchi. We had to... All markets were cancelled, obviously. Then we did Uber Eats, which takes a huge cut of your profits. And then after about 2 months, the UK ran out of packaging because every business went into home delivery. And then after that, DHL drivers started to get COVID, so they stopped coming to your house to collect it. So then after that, you had to go to the depot, and then you weren't allowed to do that. So every hurdle we jumped over, just the door just got shut in your face.
Oh my God, yeah.
We saw people back home hugging, and maybe not so much on the East Coast, but Perth.
Yeah.
There was barely any lockdown.
London COVID.
We hadn't seen any friends for a year.
Yeah, London
So
COVID
seeing people
was-
hugging and all that, and I was like, oh, it's a bit of a no-brainer. And we got no government assistance because we were self-employed. Actually, we did. We got £70 a week, so that's pretty much nothing.
Wow.
Yeah,
to live on. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's hard in London. Look, it really, COVID, we could do some markets here and there, but for the most part, we had a really good, small, but really loyal
That's what kept us
client
going.
base. And because the roads were empty, we were delivering 15, 20 miles away from home.
People are like, I don't care if it's cold.
We'll heat it up. It's fine, and we could drive those distances because there was no traffic. So we kind of managed to just get by, but I mean, on the whole, we were losing money every
It was
month.
crazy times.
And after I think it was 12, 18 months, we were like, okay, we need to move, we need to change everything. And
But
I think
we had to start.
But we were already thinking about coming back to Australia, so it was like, okay, well, let's just do it now rather than wait for all the business to start, because I could already see after COVID it wasn't just going to go back to being normal. It was going to be quite a long slog, which I see has happened here as well. It's changed how businesses operate altogether for especially food businesses. So yeah, COVID was
a trying time.
yeah.
Well, it's
But we
amazing
survived.
that you guys were able to pivot and get through it. And I'm guessing that Perth was like sort of a base. You had family and friends there.
Correct.
That's why you moved back to Perth.
Yeah, I'm originally from there. My mum lives there now, but we had to start complete. I was under no illusion we could take the little bit of a name that we'd built up in the UK and bring it to Australia. We had to start from scratch. And that's where the restaurant that we had in Perth was a good ground for that, because people come in and then we'd always showcase our cheeses in the food items, and it was a good way to complement getting our brand out there.
Yeah.
So, but we realised Perth is a very small market, given vegans are, I think, 1% to 2% of the business market in the world. So Perth is only a small city in itself. So that's why we've diversified and come over to the East Coast, because you've got Brisbane, Melbourne and Sydney instantly on that. Perth, you've just got Perth.
Yeah,
That's
so
it.
true.
And getting stuff from west to east is almost impossible.
Yeah, absolutely.
Almost impossible.
Yeah. I know you wanted to talk a little bit more about the vegan scene in Perth and how that has had its challenges.
Yeah, well, when we got back, I was like amazed. There was a restaurant called Mother, which was almost fine dining.
Which I worked at for a while because I was like, I need to work somewhere vegan, finally I can do it.
Spectacular food.
Yeah, it was really good.
There was a vegan fish and chips place, nothing fishy. But it's gone back a long way since then. I think the whole world has, I get that, in terms of veganism. I think we had a big boom around 2017 and it has petered off, maybe slightly oversaturated, but I also like to think the lobbyists on the other side have been fighting a strong campaign with money like dairy and
it's
things.
Slowly starting to build up again.
I think
since that drop of COVID.
I think so
I
too.
think we're now just starting to see, and of course we've just done Animal Rights Forum, and we can just see the momentum starting to change a bit more, which is really good. It's a really positive feel.
Which is kind of how we felt inside. We've got to ride it out. It's always something we've got to ride out. Wasn't it COVID or whatever? But I feel the same. I feel like, well, we're always going upwards. It's a very slow trajectory, but we are always going
But
upwards.
you know when we're starting to make gains is when the meat propaganda, animal agriculture propaganda starts going into overdrive to try and debunk all the veganism. And, they change their tack all the time, which means as activists, we need to change our tack to be a step ahead of them.
The only difference is they have all the money in marketing and we don't have that to compete with.
Exactly. We've got passion and love.
Yeah, exactly.
And that's, but we feel like we've spent the last 4 years fighting the Keep the Sheep movement in WA. Actually, I think it's Australia-wide, I should say. But it's a very West Australian industry.
But the food scene in Perth was a lot bigger when we first arrived in Perth. I mean, I can see non-vegan businesses closing left, right and centre, so it makes perfect... Well, it's not surprising that vegan businesses would suffer more. So it has gotten a lot smaller. However, there's a few people championing... is that the right word? Championing?
Yeah.
Veganism and animal rights that create two key events. Like our friend Emma Madel, she does the Perth Vegan Expo, does the Animal National Vegan Day market.
Liberation Cooperative.
They are two events that we look forward to every year, and
if there's a vegan event, we'll put our hand up for it.
And that community of people is small, tight, but really strong, and that's kind of the thing that gets us by through the year, because we see I know how much what's the word I'm looking for? How much work goes into creating these events, but when I see all of that happening in Perth, it's like, oh, okay, it is here, it is strong. It's just, as a restaurant in a city that's 200 kilometres long north to south, it's hard to find a spot that you can call like a vegan spot. So those are the events.
I think that the Vegan Expo definitely becomes the hub, and it's amazing.
It's so important that stays alive.
I've never managed to make it over to Perth for the expo, but I need to do that because I see it all on social media and it just looks like such a high vibe, fun atmosphere.
They've been key to the survival of our business. Like, to think that we can sell that many pizzas anywhere else, anytime, well, no, we just can't, So, and I see other businesses that go there that also rely on that, because it is such a focused event for vegans, but also open to everyone, which is also why we love it, because people bring their family members, their kids, their whatever. and they can all taste something and go, oh, actually.
Yeah.
But it's funny how some markets work. I'm part of Coast to Coast Animal Friends, which is sort of all down the East Coast, but it was when I was in Gold Coast, and we went up to the Sunshine Coast to do a festival.
Yeah.
And we had musicians, we had vegan food, we had, stalls, the whole thing. It was on an oval, and it was a really great feeling event. And I had my sort of new PA there, which has surround sound speakers, so anywhere you were on the oval, you had really good sound. And all these people were sitting at the back and sitting all around, and I'm thinking, why are they there? And I walked up and I said, you can come in. They said, oh, we don't want to be vegan. And it's like,
don't want to catch vegan.
Yeah, we just don't want to be vegan. It's like, you can still come in, you can still sit on the oval. Like, no, we just don't want to be vegan.
That's
it's like,
so weird.
Okay, this is really strange. But a quick segue, because I know that you took to task the chef who banned vegans from his establishment.
Well, we weren't at his restaurant, but I did take it to my MP, because I, having lived in the UK, there's such great equality laws there. The Equality Act of 2011 covers veganism as a religion, as a part of religion. It's something we follow. The same discrimination is not allowed against that as it would be against another minority race or whatever. And then with the backlash of banning vegans just shocked me. I couldn't believe it was like 1950s apartheid laws almost. Like, who bans someone from a restaurant? But it also got a lot of support. I saw it in mainstream media picked up on it, and we were almost alienated from it. So I took it to my MP. She took it to the Attorney General, and they said they weren't ready to address it yet. But I like to think 20 years later, like gay marriage took maybe 20 years longer here. I'd like to think we'll get there one day, and at least I tabled the motion. And she was very receptive, my MP. She took Mark McGowan's place.
She was very receptive, but it was disappointing to hear that, it's just not something that we want to deal with now. But equality should always be dealt with, we think. And, being... I think in the UK, it's. I know you said it's covered under the Equalities Act, but it's something veganism. What's the word? I can't remember. Sorry. Ethical veganism is covered. So to think that it's not even a thought here yet, it's like, well, how long is it going to take? If people are banning vegans from restaurants, well, that's not right.
I do believe his restaurant's closed down since.
Oh, okay. So well, that's not a cause for celebration.
We won't
gloat. Don't gloat. You're quite happy for you to gloat. But it's really interesting you saying that, because I remember here with the whole gay marriage thing, people are going to go, the world's going to change, exactly. It's all going to fall apart. It's like, well, hang on. Gay marriage has been happening in so many different countries now. Yeah. Why is it going to be so different in Australia? And then it's the same with veganism. They're going, if more vegans, come along, then what are we going to do with all the animals? And it's all this fear tactics. And you just go, just settle down and actually listen to some of the facts.
And think logically.
I've never understood why people kind to animals get bullied.
Yeah.
And of course,
to be the case quite often.
We pick on the most gentle sentient beings to be what's called food, because they're not going to fight back. You don't see them herding lions into a cage to kill them. And tigers, it's like cows. They're so gentle. They're just like big puppies.
Pigs are so smart too.
They might take over and run over the world.
Oh, exactly. Yeah, they're going to destroy everything, and you can't trust those pigs. And you go and turn around, and a rooster's going to chase you.
Oh my gosh.
Anyway.
Now I know you both have both been involved in animal rescue as well. So let's segue to that.
Yeah, well, I would have a pig, a cow, all of it if I had the space, and they're kind of on my bucket list, if that's the right word. But I definitely want a pig before I leave this planet.
Have you seen Reggie the pig at Edgar's Mission?
No.
You've got to go on Edgar's Mission's page. She's got Reggie the pig. He is the most adorable pig, but he sleeps on the dog bed beside Pam's bed.
Well, usually they bully the dogs, don't they? Like in a good way, like they're the boss.
They are more intelligent than dogs.
Exactly. Yeah.
Anyway, sorry.
So we have rescued a few Romanian dogs. We actually bought one of those dogs over from the UK. It did less quarantine than us. 10 days. We had to do 14. Make that make sense.
It was during the height of COVID. So,
we have a stray cat from Mykonos
Yep.
who is 10 times the size she was when I found her. She's also come over to Perth with us. And we have a couple of animals.
We've got 4 dogs.
Rescue is my favourite breed, as they say.
Yeah, we've got 4 doglets, a kitty cat, and all rescues. We just love it. We try and kind of lead by example, so friends and family will rescue as well.
I think we've educated a lot of people with rescuing.
I think we have, but then there are some friends that are like, oh, we need to get such and such breeder to, and I'm like, what? Like,
your hackles go up.
Have you? Meanwhile, they've been complimenting on, rehabilitating these dogs and stuff, and seeing how wonderful they are, and then it's like, oh,
chickens. I want chickens.
Did we not say enough? Did we not do enough? But we just keep our policy is one. Sounds a bit macabre, but one out, one in.
Yeah.
So if we've got space.
I'm a bit in the same position because
Okay.
I did a lot of street cat rescue and fostering. At one point we had 6 cats.
Okay.
And my husband was like, this is too
I had
much.
to stop going on holiday to
Yeah.
places with stray animals because I just want to take them
I could
home.
not go on holiday. That's something I
Yeah.
consider every time I'm thinking about where I'm going to go in the world. Am I going to see stray animals? Because I can't.
Brett's the type to walk around the streets of Greece with cat food in his bag, and
Bali,
we
I
would
always do
take
that.
cats
wickies
to
in
get
the bag.
spayed or get wormed
Yeah.
and stuff like that.
Did you know that most of our listeners aren't subscribed yet?
If you're enjoying the conversation and believe these stories deserve to be heard, make sure you're subscribed.
It's a free and easy way to help us grow and keep these conversations going.
So
I used to run a rescue team up on the Gold Coast, and it's still slightly going, but one of my rescuers lived downstairs from me, so we had this 2-level house, and we would go out and we rescue. And at one point, I think we had 10 cats, and they're all street cats. And it was just amazing. We would just go, can we fit in another one?
Well, that's it. We've always know what our number is that we can. We just lost one of our 2-year-old dogs just before Christmas. And although we're still grieving, we had room for another one. So we've now got another one. So we got
because there's another one in the pound, so it's like, okay, we can fit it in. Let's just do it. Let's not.
We don't have kids, but they're
about
our kids.
They're not our kids, and 4 dogs is enough. And a cat.
3 was our max in the UK. Look, we can do 4 here. Got a bigger house.
That's so funny. It's so easy to get sucked in. I've got a hard line now. We have 3 cats.
And that's
I can't go to the dog shelter without picking because it's a bit too sad to not. I want them all, so I have to go in and not look. And
it's difficult. I used to volunteer at a shelter on the Gold Coast, and I would just be going home, I just want to take them all home. I can't, but I really would love to.
Bad, but I don't think I could do that.
Well, I was there Saturday, Sunday, and I was in the adoption pens, so I'd be talking
you got
everybody.
the happy side of things.
I was talking everybody into adopting, a cat. I was in the cat section, and the thing that went around the shelter was, if they come to see Rick, they'll come for 1, they'll walk out with 2. And that was pretty much my aim, was to make sure they always walked out with 2.
Cats are better in pairs anyway.
I wanted to say earlier, back to the Perth vegan scene, we've had a couple of wins in the last few years. Like we've had Amanda Dawn elected, which was a major win.
She was at Forum, so it was great to see
Amazing lady.
Yeah.
and she's been on the podcast.
Amazing. Yes, we've seen that.
we love Amanda.
Great core group of people like that, but that was a big win. I feel like it was a big win.
Huge.
We finally got a voice in Parliament.
Turning point, I
And
think.
the sheep thing is almost rubber. What's the expression? It's a rubber stamp. No, that's when I think it's rubber stamp now.
Yeah.
What's the one after rubber stamp? Because it's not quite in yet, so I don't want to get my hopes up until it's officially
The rubber stamp is the seal of approval, right?
Is it?
Yeah, but then you just have to get that final sign off.
It needs to be action.
Yeah, the action.
Actually,
It needs to be action.
We're not there yet, so let's not start celebrating too much.
Yeah.
But I think it's
it's going to be close.
Done
It's
deal.
got to be close.
Yeah, because I feel like the farmers have spent the last, like I said, 4 to 5 years fighting the law rather than running with the subsidies that have been offered or the transitionary packages
And they're actually really generous transition packages. Like, they will actually come out ahead instead of having to rely on government subsidies to keep them going when everything goes pear-shaped.
This is what we saw in the UK and Europe in general, is that there is such a push towards sustainability and environmental causes, which really aren't spoken about that much in Australia.
It's all
we just can't get our head around it. It's like farmers in the UK are changing and going, oh, actually, we can do better out of this, because farming is intense and they don't really make a lot of money.
Well, last summer in Perth, there was no rain for 5 months, so farmers even had to shoot their own sheep.
Yeah.
100-year-old trees died, so I don't know why you would bring an animal into the world if you can't give it food and water. But thousands of sheep were killed en masse, so it feels like the industry's got an end date already.
Yeah.
Well, when you think that the cows and sheep were not supposed to be on a continent like Australia, which is dry and hot, that just beggars belief. And I know they brought them over, but
on those boats in, still happening.
I know, it's horrific.
I've always said that Australia could be the hemp capital of the world. Hemp grows in all conditions, whether it's dry, whether it's wet. It can grow and can be such a useful crop.
Olives, olive oil. We have to go on wait list to get olive oil for our business because it's tripled in price since the Ukraine crisis.
True.
And it never really stabilised. But our olive oil supplier, which is the West Australian company, you have to go on back order because everyone's clambering for it. So I'm like, grow olives.
Because last year's, I think it was last year's crop was so bad. So they're like, okay, we've got our core businesses, and I said I use it for our feta because I package it in West Australian extra virgin olive oil. I don't dilute it as well, which is really a key thing.
Top tier.
Didn't bring samples.
Well, that's it. See you later. End of podcast.
We're going to Chamber, don't worry.
Oh, no. I will get them to you, though.
No,
of course.
I want you to try that.
Anyway, but I've spoken to the olive oil supplier, and they're like, okay, we've got the core businesses, we will have enough to last you.
That for me is supply and demand.
Even
avocados like that. The southwest of Australia is such great fertile land. Margaret River vineyards, obviously. There's so much land, and it's got sheep and cattle all over it, So,
and of course the sheep and cattle destroy the ground, so nothing can
something
really
tells me these farmers will transition to these industries now, but they've waited 4 years before they could have probably already been making money from it.
That's the thing. That's the really sad thing. I think something that's different maybe between the UK and Australia, it seems to be just the attitude. Like, the farmers here seem a bit more stubborn, and I think even the general public seems more supportive of farmers than maybe in other places. I don't know what it is.
There's that thing about Australia grew on the back of the sheep. And then, of course, you have the Australian Day sheep campaign with Sam Kikadikovic. I hate that man, as you couldn't tell. He comes out with these horrible
What is
ads.
it, like a sheep shearing day or something?
It's Australian Day, and it's like, you got to eat lamb. It's like Australian, Australians eat lamb, and it's like.
Well, the Jamie Oliver story, I said, I put a mixed grill down, and the men would always go like a caveman, and it just bothered me so much. I'm like, because you couldn't even eat it all. You know what those big mixed grills are. Ironically, women would never order that. They'd have the fish or the vegan option, but the men would have these big Brontosaurus burgers kind of thing. And
well, there's the ad campaign, and sadly, one of the most successful ad campaigns in the world is Feed the Man Meat.
Is it?
And that was... All the men went,
milk,
you've got to eat meat, because to be a man, you've got to eat meat. And they keep playing things like that. A real man eats this burger.
It's like, interesting that a meal can emasculate someone.
Yeah, exactly.
So true. Yeah.
I do agree with what you were saying. Like, in, I think, UK and Europe, there is more flexibility, and people can see... Well, I think people are thinking more about environmental impacts.
Well, whereas Australia, real and present in Europe. It's crowded. It's not a great plot of land for people to expand, so people are having to adapt.
Just thinking sort of sideways, the fact also is you are so close to the rest of Europe.
Yes.
Whereas Australia is so what's the word? Isolated. You know, we
Well,
kind of have New Zealand to the side, and that's it. You know, whereas Europe, a lot of trends come over to the UK, and of course, a lot of the UK trends go to Europe. So you have a lot of that interchange. Whereas Australia, we just have us.
When Brexit happened, it really shone a light on Australia's farming practices, because the UK looked to Australia to make trade deals, and their meat and industry practices, all these things were outlawed.
Wow.
Like CO2, things like that. And they've even banned live exporting in the UK.
Yeah.
Not just sheep, the whole lot.
Yeah.
And I hope to think we'll get there one day, but I think we're a long way off of the whole
We're
bit
getting
going.
close. We are getting a lot closer. But
Well, I like to think the younger generation could save us.
yeah.
Gotta have
Now,
faith.
let's segue back to your products. Tell us more about the Faux Sho products and what you now have in your range.
Well, I think we have 19 different products, don't we? We entered 10 into the Tasmanian 5 Food Awards. We won 9 medals, 6 silver,
Amazing.
3 bronze, and that was part of my mission to get some jewellery on them. Some
Yeah.
bling,
And
to
that was your
validate us.
first food awards, correct?
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, congratulations, that's
thank
huge.
you. I was actually, I didn't get 10. You know, I wanted 10 medals, which is silly now that I think about it,
You've got
obviously.
something to work towards.
Well, that was true.
That's
and
room for improvement, and they gave you little tips as to
they
what you
did.
can improve
like
in,
tasting
which-
notes, which only we got. And like when I spoke to the lady, I can't remember her name, it's just lovely down there. She's like 9 medals for 10 products on your first entry is
It was a dairy
phenomenal
company.
result.
Yeah, I was going to say, was
like,
this
as
a
well.
Omni
well,
contest?
it's just the
It has a plant-based category, but
Yes.
it's the dairy, it's
Yeah.
a royal show.
it's a
Yeah,
royal, it's a royal
okay,
show.
yeah, the royal show, yeah, it's a-
Tasmanian.
It's quite agriculturally based,
Yeah.
isn't it?
So this is kind of shines a light on WA is that when we first got there, I called the Royal Agricultural Society of Perth, the Royal Show, to enter our cheeses, and they said, we haven't got a plant-based category, so
It was always next year.
They
It's
said
still
that it would
not
be
here.
next year, and then next year I called and there was no plant-based category. And obviously it's sponsored by the big milk companies. And to this day, there still is no plant-based category. So we had to fly our products to Tasmania.
Suitcase full of cheese to Tasmania.
Literally, yeah. An esky with ice and cheese, and off he went for 4 days.
Oh my gosh, that's
peddling
so funny.
cheese to Tasmania.
But I kind of wanted an independent opinion. Someone that knew their stuff, and I also think it helps with your selling technique.
Well, you've got that medal on your
Yeah.
product, and people are going to go, "Oh, hey, I've got to try that
It's
because
like when
it's
you
a
go
winner."
to a wine shop. You
Yeah.
kind of, if you don't know your wines, you look at the medal. And
Yeah, so we've got a range of like soft cheeses, almond feta, like all the cheeses are made from cashews, fermented,
Except for the almond
all
feta.
raw probiotic as well. The feta's the only product made from almonds. And so we've got a range of soft cheeses, flavoured cheeses, and our aged cheeses, which Brett touched on earlier, that
the coconut oil.
made, slowly over 3 months, aged, and then dipped in wax by hand to make a nice little cute product.
But our hook is the absence of coconut oil.
Yeah.
So just to give you an example, our feta is 19.9 grams of fat per 100. The average other vegan feta is 60.
Whoa.
Wow.
And that's coconut oil.
Yeah.
So the only fat in ours comes from
The nut
the
itself,
almonds
yeah.
and the olive oil, obviously, which it sits in, but we tell people to use it.
Yeah.
Because there's a lot of people that are vegan for their health and more for the ethics, but that's
So like
a good hook to sell for.
despite having been vegan for just over 10 years, I have high cholesterol. So I was told to avoid coconut oil or part of palm oil's terrible, any saturated fats. And that's how we came about to creating these cheeses with the absence of coconut oil. So they were better for you as well.
And that's definitely something that sets you apart from other brands.
Correct. Yes. Yeah.
I don't know many others that don't use coconut oil in them.
In Australia,
And I've researched dairy cheeses, and I don't think I've found one with coconut oil in it. So
Yeah, it's definitely unique
we
to the
use
plant-based
our
products.
I think we'll get to it anyway. But our blue cheese, I use exactly the same techniques as Roquefort. Like I said, I watch all these somewhat boring cheese shows, but it's an educational purpose. And I learned you just have to change the milk, and it is. We use cashew, but the same process, same Roquefort penicillin that we've since learned is trademarked. So
Tell us that story.
So I do all the kind of business side, and anytime I came up with a good name, I learned how to trademark stuff, and I submitted an application to the Intellectual Property Office, I think it is, for Roquefort as our blue cheese, and didn't think anything of it. And then I get this weird email from someone in France, and I was like, Brett, what's this? And it was the lawyers from Roquefort saying, we've noticed your application for Roquefort cheese. And basically, they've owned the trademark since, I think, 1851, I want to say, or something. Like
1700s.
They've owned it for a long time. And they're like, it's too similar, you need to take it down. And I was like, oh,
we loved
okay,
it.
I can't. Yeah, I think maybe it was a bit cheeky, but
So
they took notice.
I was more impressed that they knew who we were.
Well, I also thought maybe I've given them the name because
maybe
all these
now
companies might start. And I was like, oh, I really want that name, but...
So we changed one letter.
What's the name now?
Well, now it's
Roquefort.
Rocky,
Because we're in Rockingham.
because we're in Rockingham.
I like it.
So it's a Roquefort blue.
They seem
Love
okay
it.
with that. We haven't heard from them.
Pivot again.
Yes,
the
yes,
theme
yeah,
is pivot
that's
here.
it.
Yeah.
Change a few letters here and there, and off we go.
We've got Big Dill Energy is another one. That's a dill-based
dill-based cashew cheese. Yeah,
I'm not your lover.
that's it. Yeah, nacho cheese sauce.
Oh my
He's the name guy.
Yeah,
I just like
I do like coming up with the names. It's kind of
Buffalo
fun.
mozzarella.
fun bit.
Buffalo mozzarella.
Buffalo.
Oh, yes.
That's one that I quite liked as well. Some people are like, oh, it's too similar, but we've got cashew printed pretty boldly, so nobody can get confused. It's,
I think you've got a good play on words with your name, Faux Sho. Like,
like
there's
to
lots
make
of
it fun.
ways you can use
I
the
think
word
Faux Sho is
faux.
just perfect. It really is. Because it really suits all your product names, which really works well. I think it's very cool.
So where can we get your products?
So we've just been in Sydney looking for some new retailers or people to represent us and have our products. So products will be available in the coming months at Che Mart, yes. And hopefully at Susie Spoon's, vegetarian butcher.
It's confirmed.
Oh, yes, okay.
Two great establishments, so well done.
Also, I don't know if maybe a few people know already, but Gigi's Pizzeria, we have been here making mozzarella for them, and they feature it on their fungi pizza, so their mushroom pizza, which is our buffalo mozzarella. So I think we've made close to 90 kilos for just
which I
just
think is
for
the
him.
best pizzeria in the world.
Yeah, shout out to them. I mean,
I
we
think
went
I need
in
to
there for dinner last
go
night.
to Gigi's.
Yes,
So good.
We need to get Marco on the podcast.
Yes,
Everyone keeps saying that.
yeah. We went in for dinner last
knows
night.
his stuff.
And it's we take our non-vegan friends, and they're just like, oh, this is amazing.
Well, going back to Marco, he chose not to put cheese generally on his pizzas because it wasn't up to his standard, but I can proudly say ours is.
Well, yes, and that was a real pat on the back to hear him say, hey, we want your cheese. And since, because I don't know if you know, when they went vegan, he hasn't really had a margarita pizza on his menu because he couldn't find a mozzarella that kind of replicated fior di latte or... so we've created a new one with him to his specifications, which is another product that he's going to start using in the next few weeks, I think, or maybe in the next few days.
Very exciting.
We're going to go.
So that'll feature on the margarita style pizza. So
amazing.
Would you like to talk about how exciting in the pipeline venture?
Well, we've, I don't know. Sorry.
Well, I want to see
something exciting.
I want to see your fried pizza come here.
I never got the opportunity to roll that out. That was always one of my
We did
aces up
try
my
it in
sleeve.
Perth. It just no
Didn't
one
work.
ordered it. No.
How weird.
No, we didn't.
Didn't we?
No, we've never
Oh,
tried
we've
it.
spoken about it and people. I don't know.
No, you're getting that wrong.
To be honest, it's not something I would try because I just have a really sensitive stomach to like deep fried food.
Well,
When you get the right temperature with the dough
Yeah.
and the oil, it's actually not fatty or
Okay.
thing.
it's really hard to say
twisting
deep
my
fried
arm.
pizza's
If you
not
get it
fatty.
right, it's delicious, light, crispy.
I wouldn't recommend
airy.
eating them every day.
Yeah, that's,
Not a health food.
Yeah.
it's not for the.
In fact, one of the
health
flavours was
conscious.
mac and cheese inside.
Oh my
Truffle,
God.
truffle mac and cheese inside.
I'm obsessed with truffle oil.
Yeah, truffle mac and cheese inside.
Oh, now you're killing me.
Yeah, truffle mac and
good.
cheese inside that on a cold winter's day in London. Yeah, it was good. It was our bestseller.
Maybe it's just the weather in the UK.
You know what? I think it could be actually.
that.
Yeah, I think that's got a lot to do with
Dreary
it.
weather, people want comfort food.
Well, we did a lot of university towns, and that was always. I find veganism generally a younger demographic, and university towns would always do great. And the vegan markets always had such a good turnout. I found a lot of non-vegans would go that love food because it's something they almost hadn't had before.
Yeah.
You know, like foodies liked eating vegan, whereas I found in Perth we had vegan branding all over our stuff, and our customers said, I think your name's letting you down. So we took the vegan off and we're now Faux Sho gourmet. And I have to agree, I think a lot of people do a wide berth when they saw the vegan, which, like I said, in the UK was a bit more evolved in not being so anti-vegan, you know? It's like, it's a food. And the bar was high in the UK. Like the food trade, I'm not saying it's not here, it's just not as many vegan businesses here. I think London could be the most vegan city in the world, but it's the markets. In fact, you had to audition to get into the markets.
Oh, wow.
One of them we had to feed all the local businesses.
Oh.
So give away free food for a couple of hours, and then
my
we got told
goodness.
if we're in or not.
Oh my goodness.
And we got in, but I know.
So much more competitive.
Yeah.
Here you just
like
rock
it.
up with your food truck and go, I'm a vegan
Portobello
business.
markets and South Bank, they're like popular.
Yeah.
So to get in there, and that was great. I couldn't believe the way we got into the vegan business too. There was a vegan market in London, did vegan KFC version. And I was like, what? And I got there 11 a.m. and it was sold out. And I was like, okay. That was about 2016. That's when I was like, okay, there's vegans out there, you know? And it was great.
Well, I remember the story about, I don't know if you know Funky Pies.
Yes.
Yeah.
So Angie was on and she was telling us how she started. And she...
In Bondi, yeah?
Yeah, well, she's in Bondi. She's been there. I love Angie.
Yeah.
She's great. And
Yeah.
pies are awesome. But she started by going, I might just go to a market and I'll just make, a couple of hundred pies. And she was sold out pretty much as the market started.
Yeah. Everyone loves a pie.
this is a really good idea.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
now Funky Pies is just an amazing place.
Yeah.
She was also saying, and maybe you guys will agree, that markets are such a good way to test if your product is something that people actually want.
Well, there's low overheads.
Yeah.
You know, and that's when we had a restaurant when we first came back to Perth, and the overheads are not low. Electricity spiked. I think that was around the Ukraine war time as well. And it's hot in Perth, as it is here, but we had to have the air conditioning on, and our bills just killed us. So markets, you have that freedom.
Well,
if
we've
you have a
actually
bad
gone back
day,
to markets.
Yes.
Okay.
A lot.
We have
So
gone
we're
back to
doing a lot
markets.
of... We're doing more and more non-vegan markets. So we actually have a stall at Stirling Farmers Market in North Perth, or northern suburbs of Perth. And we've had a really good response there. And a lot of it is actually non-vegans that are curious, kids with food intolerances, and they're coming by trying stuff and going, actually, I like that too. It's not just for my kid. And we've seen people come back. So I think people are... But it depends where you go in Perth. I think there are some suburbs that have a more receptive demographic, but I think that's with...
It's the same in Sydney, Newtown's really the vegan hub, and everywhere else is kind of.
Well, we don't
not
really
so
have
much.
that in Perth,
Yeah.
like a vegan hub.
Well, there's
and
not
that's,
even really a dining area. Like Fremantle's, you've probably heard of, it's great, but Monday to Friday it's dead, or Monday to Thursday it's dead.
Yeah.
But
You can't have a restaurant that's not busy. That's only busy 2 days a week.
Yeah.
You know?
the rents in Fremantle are astronomical. So a vegan business,
we'd
In
struggle.
fact, we share now with another 2 vegan businesses in Perth because that was the only... What was the pivot? We had to pivot to survive.
Yeah.
Rents were killing us and we didn't want to give up because I couldn't go back to being a chef for anyone else, but unless they were vegan. But
yeah, we're lucky enough to share with Cucina Lab, and they do handmade.
shout out to Cucina Lab.
I've never heard of them.
They do the most amazing lasagnas,
Gnocchi.
cannelloni,
Like
gnocchi,
ready meals.
ready meals.
Yeah.
That's their model, yes.
Sauces. Their gnocchi is to die for.
Amazing.
You just need to pop it in the air fryer. You don't need to boil it. Doesn't go soggy. And we share a kitchen with them. And as 2 vegan businesses,
We feed each other.
Yeah. Yes.
See, now all this talk of food,
Yes.
I'm sitting here going, oh, okay, I'm getting hungry now. But I wanted to know something. So with the whole supermarkets, they're replacing local product with a lot of imported products. How are we going to keep our local vegan food scene alive? Because we've seen so many of the great vegan products just gone.
I feel like there's a duopoly with the supermarkets here, and they're not very vegan friendly. And the bit that's really bothered me in the last few months is that they've taken Australian brands off, even their own Plantitude range, and replaced it with Impossible and Beyond, which is US.
It's more expensive.
Well, the air miles. Like I thought our major 2 supermarkets would support Australian brands first, but it appears that's not their model at all. And there seems to be very little afterthought for us vegans now. Like we addressed before earlier, Bird's Eye have removed a vegan lamb that they did, which was affordable and, in my opinion, for what it was, very good.
Yeah.
And they sent an email to people that inquired saying, we do hope you continue to eat our carrots, peas and corn. Not parrots, that wouldn't be very vegan.
Just the audacity of them to delete the vegan products and then say, we hope you enjoy our peas and corn.
Continue to enjoy it.
Like it's 2011 or something.
I will never buy a pea, carrot or parrot from them again.
Yeah, look, it's disappointing because we used quite a lot of Australian brands that were stocked in the supermarkets, and we don't have much to choose from now when we go to buy something. Unfortunately, like a lot of the better vegan foods in Australia, I can think of quite a few people, but are handmade, and we just, we don't have that mass buying power. We can't spread our costs over, thousands of items of stock, and we can't get into the supermarkets because I know their margins, and the big supermarkets are so tight.
I don't even think you'd want to though, because they end up just copying the product and coming out with their own.
We've been told, and we've seen,
out,
we know people that have been pushed out, in business, which is really,
badly from them,
which is so disappointing that people actually, that. When you think about it, that's kind of the dream, right? To be in a supermarket and be available to the masses at an affordable price, and to see these businesses just disappear overnight. And oh, sorry, we're not buying them. The big supermarkets.
Yeah, they get screwed
responding
over.
like that, and it's like, oh, okay, so well, that's not on the card. So, what do we do then as a business to go forward? I don't know.
The only way I could answer it is to urge people to shop local. I think that's the only way forth, and I think a lot of people share the same sentiment that the 2 supermarkets aren't very friendly to alternative diets. There seems to be a lot of gluten-free stuff, which is great, but our Coles has no vegan section now.
But
there used to be that's another brand that's disappeared off the shelves, V2.
Yeah.
We've got V2 still in Sydney,
Okay.
but it's a lot less, and it's changed quite a bit. So
And
it's
Veef
not so.
keeps coming and going.
Yeah.
and
I don't know
I
what's
think
that.
beef is done.
Well, we
Veef
just
still
saw
has the
some.
sausages.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but and then they
That's it. But
Yeah.
what,
they used to have so
Inconsistent.
much
what's there
more.
one week's not there the next.
And it was affordable
Yeah.
for the price range. It was great. And so why are then these big supermarkets replacing it with a product that costs more than double, that's either flown in from Holland or from the US?
Yeah, because that
To us, it just
Impossible
doesn't
meat's
make
like
sense.
$12 or
Yeah,
something.
it's
Yeah.
a ridiculous
A little
price.
rich.
But what actually makes, you were talking about food intolerance before.
Yeah.
And there's a statistic that like 60 to 70% of the world is intolerant to dairy. And then when you talk about Asian populations, it gets higher.
Yeah.
And why aren't we saying, hey, you got to get off the dairy because it's not doing your gut system any good whatsoever? If you have gut problems, if you have skin problems, if you have all these other issues.
Because us vegans are eating all the soybeans.
Oh yeah, exactly. It's our fault because
we're destroying the Amazon. Didn't you know?
The soybeans.
But that's the thing. It's like we really need to get our message out. It's like if you're sick, get off the dairy.
Or hospitals.
Hospital food. Yeah.
You're meant to heal in hospital. And I've seen some pictures posted of what meals you get. I got Weetabix and boiling water when I was in there.
The Cancer Council selling sausages at a fundraiser. Make it make sense. Just the logical inconsistency.
Or RSPCA approved. What does that mean?
Look, I think we have, or our thing has always been, let's try and open up people's minds to eating vegan by just trying good food.
We love food.
So I've always been of a belief, okay, like we're obviously vegan, but good food is good food. It doesn't matter where it comes from. So we found in the UK, we had people calling themselves gourmet going, oh my God, cashew cheese? Great. Haven't tried it. Want to try it. Telling us it goes with things that we don't eat, but I'm like, but they're trying it,
Interesting you say that though, because I recently my elder stepdaughter turned 21.
Yep.
And my two stepdaughters aren't vegan. My wife and I are vegan. And I just said, okay, we held a surprise party for her, and actually did turn out to be a surprise. She was very shocked. So I'm impressed with myself. But I took in a fruit platter, really lovely fruit platter, and a cheese platter. Now, it was all vegan cheeses, and I came in and I said, right, so here's a fruit platter, here's a lovely cheese platter. The cheese is made by an amazing friend of mine from the Gold Coast, and everyone's going, oh great, a cheese platter. I said, oh, and it's all vegan. The only people who ate it was me, my wife, and my sister. The others wouldn't even come near it.
You mentioned the vegan word too early. They need to try it first.
I should have not slipped that in. But yeah, they all knew I was vegan. If I was going to start eating it, they'd be going.
We've had to do tasters in supermarkets. And I learned not to say the V word. Yeah. So I'd say cashew cheeses, and you get a whole different response.
Yeah, I mean,
it's sad
just
though.
Narrow-mindedness.
Yeah.
We did do some tastings where people, it looked like they were scared of the, like it was going to hurt them or something. And you got to laugh at that, right? I mean, it's just food.
Well, I did the same. I used to work for a vegan ice cream company on the Gold Coast, and I went out and did a few tastings for them. Same thing. As soon as I said it was vegan, no one wanted it. But as soon as I said, oh, would you like to try this ice cream? And they would try and go, oh, this is amazing. What is it? And I said, well, it's a vegan ice cream. And they go, oh.
Can't be ice cream without milk in it.
Exactly. Yeah. It's like, oh, okay, it's actually really good.
It's a sorbet then.
Yeah.
Oh, the whole name thing, gets me. It's like the whole branding.
Didn't we just the EU?
Yeah, the EU says they can't.
Passed a law to say you have to call burgers discs. I think it is.
Oh my God!
Really?
Burgers are discs, and what's the other one?
I'm not sure. I hadn't seen that, but I saw
what part of an animal is a burger? There is no animal that's called a burger.
And
it's not even got ham in
it. Just the waste, just the wasted money.
Yeah,
for governments.
Yeah.
We're on the brink of a major war, and they're arguing about names of food.
Yeah, like the whole milk argument.
Yes.
You can't call oat milk anymore. You can't call almond milk. But what about the other things that have the name milk in it?
Coconut milk.
Yeah, but it's got milk of magnesia. Like, I'm sorry, you're going to change that? It's like butter. Well, we've got peanut butter, so should we change the peanut? Should we call it something else?
And there's no dog in a hot dog.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Well, we hope.
Who knows what's in a hot dog?
Well, we know. Yeah, anyway.
But that's what I was going to say about Oatly. They just lost a massive court case in the UK.
I did see
because
that.
Their tagline was post-milk generation.
That's it, yeah.
And they've been banned from using the word milk in their marketing.
I mean, so that's obviously the milk industry being scared if they're putting that much money behind that and wasting everybody's time when they could be looking at other things.
Well, I read an article that they've actively fought that.
Yeah. But the thing is, if somebody gets confused about something like Oatly, which said the post-milk generation, if they get confused and pick that up going, oh, I'm buying milk, and then find out it's not milk. They've got a bigger problem.
I'm
than
sorry,
the fact
we
that
have
it's
to
oat
read
milk.
every label.
It's like
Why can't they?
Yeah.
We have to read every label.
And you've got like these are burgers, but it's got plant-based written on it.
Yeah.
If they can't read plant-based, seriously, they've got a bigger problem.
Usually in standout green writing.
Yeah, and I think I read some research just recently saying that I think over 95% of people haven't made that mistake.
Yeah.
They know that it's plant-based if
Yeah.
it is.
Well, the vegans are probably the ones more likely
Yes,
to make a
yes,
mistake
of course.
because you've got to sit there, as you said, read all the ingredients and got to pull out your phone to magnify all the
you get your
ingredients.
fussy
'cause,
vegan
I'm at that age now too. Yes, I've been doing the sneaky camera shot.
Oh, look, I've got
and
the
zooming
glasses
up on
it. But they're so small.
Yes,
and usually
agree.
they have, like, in the same sort of, like, a tone of the colour that's underneath it.
Yeah.
It's,
You just have to look for milk. Milk's in everything.
Yeah, exactly, yeah.
I feel like we're starting to round out the conversation a little bit. So I wanted to ask if you had any reflections or advice or maybe messages of support for other vegan business owners.
Well, think very seriously about it because rents can really... I think my main advice would be if you need to share a kitchen. I find the overheads just aren't really... You can't really afford to have your own
we
space.
love what we're doing. We absolutely love it. But the amount of times we've had to pivot and change, it's like...
You've got to
think
be
if
passionate about it.
If somebody were to ask me, would you do this again? I don't know where I sit on that, just because it's been a roller coaster. There's no other way to describe it. But yeah, what we found is working with other vegan businesses. So there's a few in Perth, like Whip Patisserie, a vegan patisserie.
Yes, I've been
Great. Amazing
We all
stuff.
stick together.
So we
There's only
stick
4.
together, they sell our products. We kind of try and look after each other, and I find that really helps, is to have that, tight community
I think
together.
recognizing that you're all trying to work towards the same goal,
Yes.
and it's so much easier to do that than to have the competition between your businesses.
That's it, yeah. And especially like a lot of our businesses complement each other in Perth, so it's nice to be able to do that. Like the Cucina Lab guys use some of our mozzarella in their products, and we just make it for them there because we're sharing the same kitchen. I think if somebody were to think about starting their own vegan food business, it's you're in for a ride. That's the only way I could put it. But I mean, would I
diversify would be another bit
Yeah.
of advice, because supplying places with cheeses and doing a pizza business and doing markets comes together a bit. One of those we probably wouldn't have survived if we just stuck to one. But going back to where you can get our products, we forgot to mention we're in 25 shops in...
That was where we're coming to now. We've talked about Shema, we've talked about Susie Spoon. Where else can people now get your products?
So we're in quite a few stores, mainly like Farmer Jacks, IGAs, independent IGAs, all around Perth.
Good grocers, all those kind of...
More
kind of like Harris Farms. We don't have
like an
farms,
upmarket
but...
grocer. And Whip Patisserie has a range of our aged cheeses as well. So they have most of our products actually, whereas the other grocers have more of the jarred products that can travel well and are distributed throughout.
So you've got like a really good outlets in Perth, Eastern Seaboard of Australia.
We're working on, and this is what part of this trip was here, is to connect with people, find people that want to take on our products. We're always open to hear from people as well if they can think of anywhere that would like to stock.
Melbourne's probably our next target.
What about the Green Edge in Brisbane?
Oh, sorry, we're also in Green Cherry. In
Caringbah. Yes. They've got some of our products.
Green Edge in Brisbane, that's a very big vegan supermarket, and they've been established for quite a while.
Like I said, once we get a foothold in here, we'll be able to get to those other cities.
But Melbourne is such a good market to get into, so that would be...
Because we have a distributor in Perth, but they don't come to the East Coast.
They only do WA, so
Right.
we've been doing that ourselves, and
There's so many logistics in every step,
Yeah.
particularly being in such an isolated city, whereas that's what we took for granted in London. We used to send stuff to Germany.
Well, that's
And
it.
it
It's
arrived
so
the next
close.
day.
My dad would buy
customers.
our cheeses in Poland, and they'd arrive in 24 hours in a cold pack, and he'd be like, "Hey, that was so easy."
That's
And
so funny. Like,
Next day
we're
delivery.
so isolated in Australia, and Australia is so big. It's so hard to get things
We
from
get
one side
stuff
to
from
the
the
other.
UK quicker than we do from Sydney often.
Sometimes.
Well,
It's
again,
crazy.
going back to when I worked in the vegan ice cream factory, we would have to ship the ice cream, and of course it had to be frozen. And I was working.
Costs.
Which costs, and I was working in minus 22 degrees, and trying to pack all these pallets, and then you'd have to make sure you got them into the frozen truck really
Straight
quickly,
away,
and then of course you had to rely on the fact that it was going to arrive at the other end still frozen.
Yes.
So sometimes you get calls saying, there's been a problem, and you just go, well, there's a whole, few
Well, we
pallets
sent
gone.
a case of feta over once about a year ago. We couldn't afford. Couldn't afford the insurance, otherwise it would have bumped the price up too much. Took 2 weeks to arrive, and then as they were delivering it, they dropped one pallet of it. So
Oh no!
just couldn't do anything.
Had
about
to
that.
absorb the
So
cost.
that's why we since have been carrying suitcases of cheese over ourselves. We were told by Yellow Restaurant, actually, the sommelier, that that's how they get a lot of their wines over. Don't know if I meant to mention that. they recommended
I think you're all right.
they recommended that was the easiest way to do it, which blew my mind.
You just pay
but
for
it
an
was.
extra bag, which
Yeah.
happens to be a styrofoam esky, and if they can send seafood that way, it's good enough.
It's
for our
great because
cheese.
we bring loads of food back.
That's it. We stock up on,
I was about
food
to say,
items that we can't get in.
Once you've emptied it out here, you then take
I
it
we
with
did our
you.
shop today.
I was at Susie Spoon's today buying a lot of stuff, and that goes back. So the cheeses come over, and we come home with goodies that last us till we come over next.
I like it.
Oh, that's
like
so
it.
good.
We are starved for vegan products in Perth. Yeah.
Well, thank you both so much for
Thank
your
you.
time.
Thank
It's
you.
been so nice to do it in
Thanks.
Yeah,
person
lovely
on
to
your
meet you.
little
So
trip
glad
to
you were
Sydney.
here. Yeah, it was so cool.
Yeah, thanks for having us.
And we, of course, have to go and try your cheeses now.
Yeah, I know it's going to happen. We're just going to go on a mission.
Do you guys come into the centre? Because we could leave some samples there for you. We've got samples.
Oh,
We should have really bought some.
I'm going into the city on Friday.
I'll meet you on Friday because I've got to go into St Leonard's, and I was going to.
Yeah?
Because that's
Do we
nice
have
and simple.
time?
You guys are going.
You're leaving in the
No,
morning.
you're going at 6 o'clock in the morning.
That's not, yeah, that's not gonna
That's
happen.
all right. We'll find them. Don't worry. It'll be all good. We
Next
will.
time.
We're back in 2 months.
We'll go to
Oh, cool.
Chatmark.
Okay.
Yeah,
well,
we're
next
back in
time
2
you're back,
months. Yeah,
we'll
we're back
catch
in 2
up,
months.
and that'll be really cool. But what I would like to actually finish up today's episode, and I'd love to say thank you so much, Krzysztof. Thank you so much,
you.
Brett.
Thank you for having
It's
me.
been just an absolute wonder. But the one thing I want to finish on today is it vegan?
Faux Sho, baby.
We'll see you all in our next episode. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you so much for listening. If you enjoyed this conversation, please let us know by leaving a comment and share this episode with a friend.